Projected expenses and revenues. The projected cost refers to the amount that a job likely to cost upon completion. How it's estimated. Let's say you are the small clothing business owner and are considering a business expansion. You have decided to put together a projected income statement for the following year to see if the new product is worth. Revenues. The first item you need to estimate is your revenue, also known as sales to customers. You believe you can sell 5,000 items in 1 year at an average price of 100 pesos each. So now, we need to count the anticipated or predicted sales by multiplying items to the price. Example, 5,000 times 100 is equals to 500,000 pesos. So, we need to remember, this is only a projection or an estimation. Next is cost of goods sold. But you need to estimate your cost of goods sold. This is the cost of buying or producing the items. In this case, you have already located a supplier who will sell them to you at 4,999 pieces at the price of 50 pesos each. So, let's multiply. 4,999 times 50 is equals to 249,950. Next is gross profit. Gross profit is simply revenues. Cost of goods 249,950 buying from supplier. So, in this case, the remaining income is 250,050 pesos. Next is the operating expenses. You need to estimate the additional operating costs you'll incur by operating this product. Example, sales personnel worth 50,000 pesos a year. Transportation is equal to 20,000 a year. Rent, 50,000 a year. So now, this is the total statement or income statement. We come up, projected revenue is 500,000, cost of goods is equals to 249,950, and we will subtract is equal to 250,050 pesos. And now we need to consider the operating expenses. What are the operating expenses? Here we have sales personnel is equal to 50,000 pesos a year. Next is the transportation is equal to 20,000 pesos a year. And next, the rent is equal to 50,000 pesos a year. So, we come up the total of 120,000 pesos operating expenses. Now, we need to total the overall expenses or overall total. 250,050 pesos subtract to 120,000 is equal to 130,050 pesos. Now, this is my overall conclusion. Therefore, I conclude that the estimated 500,000 revenues, 369,000 expenses come up with 130,050 pesos profit a year. So it's not bad, still earning a big income in 1 year. What are the importance of computing and budgeting the expenses of the company? In my idea, it is the strategic way to determine all of the company transaction that involves money, people, personnels that use as a base of records in the operation and company income statement. What is income statement? An income statement shows your revenues, expenses, and profits for a particular period. When it's that period, or what period it should be. It is annually, yearly, quarterly, monthly, or weekly period. It depends to the company what period they are going to total their expenses that belongs within that period. Here we have an examples such as revenue, expenses, total income, income taxes, net income. Now, we're going to start first in revenue. Revenue is the money you will earn from whatever goods or service you provide. Example, you are going to sell a product to your customers. That income is included as revenue, or we call as profit or revenue. Next is the expenses. What are those expenses? These expenses includes direct costs like, for example, materials, equipment, rentals, employee wages, your salary, and etc. Second one is the general and administrative costs. What are those administrative costs? Those administrative costs is, example, accounting and legal fees, advertising, bank charges, insurance, office rent, telecommunications, and etc. Those are belongs to the expenses that company are required, or as a company owner we need to record all these expenses, and then we are going to compute after that period. Next, total income. The total income is your revenue minus your expenses belongs before income taxes. So, if you are going to sell a products, or if you have a big company, remember we need to pay different kind of taxes, or we call income taxes. Those are government taxes that we're going to pay every period. Depends to the period, or depends to the company, due dates, and contract. Next is the net income. The net income is your total income without income taxes. But for me, net income is the overall income after the deductions of the all expenses that we need to pay every period. Like example, equipment rentals, employee wages, your salary, and accounting and legal fees, advertising and bank charges, insurance, and office rent.